So we have Tokyo, Carly, and Melissa on the same bus together because they caught a later flight to Houston. And the tension is really thick. And Melissa, she's confused because she's trying to understand what's going on. So Melissa is asking Carly, what did you do to Tokyo? You know what I'm saying? And Carly, she's just like, it's so nice, when toxic people stop talking to you and everything. And Tokyo was like, Carly, bitch, you the one who's toxic. You know what I'm saying? And I do agree, even though I had Carly's back in the situation last week, which I still have her back on that. We know Carly does have some toxic ways about her. We've been knowing this shit since season 1. Carly does have some toxic ways about her, so I couldn't really even be mad when Tokyo said that shit. So Carly is like, she mad because Spice is with Tobias or whatever. And Tokyo is like, no, you're missing the point. You're missing the principle of the situation. So she proceeds to tell Melissa about the double date that Carly went on with Spice and how Tobias was there or whatever. And Tokyo says, Carly didn't call me or nothing like that. And, Carly, she's saying again, I did call you and everything. And then, Tokyo was like, okay, well, why couldn't you have sent me a text or SOS or something? You do it every other time or whatever, this, that, and the third. And, Melissa is like, can we get an apology or something going on here and everything? Y'all know how Melissa always try to be the peacemaker. So, Carly is like, I'm sorry that I didn't, break down any doors or any barriers, or break my neck to tell you about Tobias or whatever, this, that, and the third. And Melissa is like, come on, Carly, you can apologize better than that. You know what I'm saying? So Carly, she attempts again and tries to give a more sincere apology. And Tokyo still ain't fucking with it pretty much or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, so what was the point then if you weren't going to accept it? But like I told you guys last week, I feel like regardless of how Carly would have presented the information, I still feel like Tokyo would have been in her feelings regardless. You feel what I'm saying? I don't know if Carly really did try to call Tokyo or not, whatever, but like I said, I feel like it don't really matter how Carly would have presented that information. I still feel like Tokyo would have been in her feelings. But whatever. Like I said before, Carly, just stop telling the girls, stuff. Let them look stupid on their own. Okay. So anyways, then we have Brittany. She's at this grill shop in Houston with this guy named Johnny Dane, I believe. And you guys remember she invited Tierra to come along, and so she's waiting on her. Tierra shows up, and of course she shows up with that damn Jasmine. And of course Brittany, she's irritated because she's like, didn't I tell her not to bring this bitch? With all the controversy that's surrounding her right now, whatever, you know what I'm saying? So they start to have a conversation, and Jasmine is just pretty much trying to tell her side of the story or whatever. And Brittany is like, well, do you feel like this is the right time to be trying to sit up here having a conversation with Rashida? And Jasmine is like, I mean, it's never going to be a right time or whatever, but I feel like I have to be the one to take that step, to apologize to her or whatever, this, that, and the third. And I'm just like, girl, like I said before, you gonna allow Tierra to get your ass whooped, and she need her ass whooped as well, popping up on people and shit. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so moving on. Sierra and Mimi decides to have this sit down with Spice in Tokyo because they all gonna be on this trip together, and Sierra is friends with both Tokyo and Spice, so they don't want it to be an issue with the issue that is at hand, which is Tobias and everything. So they want them to at least be able to be in the same room with one another. So Spice shows up first and everything. Mimi is like, Tokyo is coming, and Spice is like, she was in a relationship with the guy that I'm dealing with now or whatever, so why do I really need to be friends with her? Mimi is just trying to explain to her, well, you guys you guys are going to be around each other a lot and everything, and we don't want to be uncomfortable or whatever, so we kind of need to nip this shit in the bud before it becomes something or whatever. So then Tokyo, she shows up and everything, and Spice is just looking her up and down and is just like, Like, you know, on some real shady shit. Like, she just can't believe that this is Tokyo and this is who Tobias was with or whatever, this, that, and the third. And so in her confessional, in Spice's confessional, she's saying how Carly told Spice that Tokyo said, you know, oh, fuck Spice or whatever, this, that, and the third. Now, Carly, I feel like you was fucked up for that shit, because it's like, you already know that the situation is weird or whatever. Why would you sit up here and tell Spice that Tokyo said fuck her and everything? Now, I don't feel like Tokyo, when you guys remember last week when Tokyo was like, you know, fuck a Spice and fuck a Pam Rico or whatever, you know, whatever she said. I don't feel like Tokyo was saying that in a sense like she like was looking for some smoke with Spice or whatever. I just felt like she was in her feelings at that moment about, you know, Tobias and everything, this, that, and the third. So she was just like, you know, I don't care about a Spice, fuck a Pam Rico, whatever her name is, or whatever, this, that, and the third. And I'm like, but at the same time, Spice, didn't you say something about, you know, something along them lines about Tokyo as well? Didn't you say, I don't care about a Japan or Korea or whatever you had said about her? So it's like, why are your panties in such a bunch? You know what I'm saying? And, so yeah, so Sierra is saying, you know, we're going to have a nice brunch or whatever, this, that, and the third. And, you know, Spice, she's looking at Tokyo talking about I don't think she wants nothing else to eat or whatever, this, that, and the third. And I'm just like, really, Spice? Like, girl, I'm telling you, you gonna get yourself in trouble on this show. Well, really, you didn't already got yourself in trouble, because I saw that she did put out an apology yesterday about what she said about Tokyo and everything. But I'm gonna get to that in a minute. But I'm just looking at her like, I mean, Spice, you really gonna go there? Like, because we could say some shit about you, okay? Like Tokyo said, okay, you're not like small your goddamn self, so you sitting up here trying to come at me about my weight or whatever, this, that, and the third, you know. And she, you know, and Tokyo was really trying to handle the situation like an adult. She's like, you know, my issue is not with you, it's with Tobias and everything, this, that, and the third. And Spice, she still was saying like some slick shit or whatever, and it's just like, yo, like, really, I feel like from the jump street, Tokyo came there on some, like, you know, cool shit or whatever, just, you know, trying to hear everybody out and everything. Spice from Jump Street was the one who had all this animosity and all this issue or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, Spice was saying some slick shit or whatever. And, you know, somebody had said something, and then Tokyo was like, well, I mean, he was just on Instagram with me last night or whatever. And Spice is like, oh, so y'all together, you know, yes or no and everything. And Tokyo just kind of sitting there, because the way, you know, Spice was talking to her, Tokyo was like, I mean, I'm not your child, you know what I'm saying? And Spice, you know, running her mouth and everything. And, you know, Tokyo was like, you know what, I'm about to leave or whatever before I knock this hoe out. And she pulled a Sierra move. She threw her purse at Spice, but I think it missed Spice, because I think Spice, you know, ducked real quick, you know, that Jamaican shit and everything. And, you know, Tokyo was trying to fight security to get to Spice or whatever, and Spice was trying to fight security to get to her and everything. Spice throws her shoe or whatever. I said, Lord, is Nola versus the Islands. Okay? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know who will win if they was to really get down. I don't know who would win that shit, but as of right now, I probably would be on Tokyo's side, because I don't like the way Spice did this shit at all. You know what I'm saying? Tokyo, she's so pissed off. You know, they put her in one of the vans and everything, and, you know, she's mad because Spice kept on picking or whatever, this, that, and the third. And I felt for her in that moment, because it's like, you know, because she was saying, you know, I'm not about to be on this show fighting with these hoes and everything. And I felt her in that moment, because it's like, when you are trying to make a conscious effort to grow and to change, and then a person or people just constantly keep on nitpicking and provoking you, that shit gets on your fucking nerves. You know what I'm saying? So I felt Tokyo in that moment. Mimi was even like this. Spice, you know, kept on provoking Tokyo, and, you know, Tokyo was trying to be cool and everything. So like I said, Spice did put up an apology. You know, the Shade Room posted it last night or whatever, and, you know, she was saying in her apology, she was saying that, you know, there's obviously like a cultural difference or something like that, because you know they be talking, you know, like she play around with her sisters and her mom or whatever about, you know, each other's weight or whatever, this, that, and the third. And it was just kind of like, yeah, I'm not really buying that. Y'all probably do that or whatever, and it's not really looked at as, you know, body shaming or whatever. But I feel like in that moment you were not being on no playful shit by sitting up here talking about some, oh well, she don't need nothing else to eat or whatever. So for you to sit up here and try to make that comparison, is like, no, you weren't playing with Tokyo at that moment. You were trying to be fucking shady. You know what I'm saying? And then you just kept on picking and picking and picking. And she was saying how, what else did she say? Oh, she was saying that, you know, even though her and Tokyo have buried the hatchet, she just wanted to apologize again because, you know, she was disgusted by her own behavior last night or whatever, this, that, and the third. So when she said that she wanted to apologize again, that led me to believe, okay, that she must have apologized to her somewhere in this season or whatever, and I guess we're probably going to see it, but we'll wait and see and everything. But yeah, I was so upset with Spice last night because, like I told you guys before, I like Tokyo, but I like Spice as well, and I already knew when, you know, this situation was going to erupt that somebody was going to look bad. And yeah, Spice, you looking bad right now, you know what I'm saying? But anyways, so if y'all want to see the rest of the apology, go to the shade room, because it was like a lengthy apology slash explanation. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm trying to get my words together. I'm talking too fast. If y'all want to see the rest of the apology, go slash explanation, go to the shade room, because it was kind of lengthy. Okay. So yeah, let's move on. Get my words together. So let's move on. So then Sierra, she goes to visit Tokyo a little later on, and it's like, Sierra, I'm looking at you kind of funny, because wasn't you just mad at Carly a couple of weeks ago because you felt like she ambushed you and everything, this, that, and the third, and you did the same exact thing with Tokyo. And Mimi kind of wrong too, because Mimi was there for the situation that Carly had set up for Sierra or whatever. So I don't know why Mimi didn't tell Sierra that this would be a bad idea to do with Tokyo and Spice. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, especially Sierra, since you're closer to Tokyo. And I was kind of mad that Tokyo didn't get on Sierra about that, considering that she was so pissed off at Carly for doing that to Sierra. But I mean, whatever. But anyways, so they're having a conversation. You know, Tokyo, she's like, you know, she's sitting up here throwing fat jokes or whatever, as if she isn't like, you know, a cheeseburger away from being my size or whatever. And you know, and then she was like, you know, Spice is not even cute on the eyes and everything. And I did see a lot of people saying that about Spice last night or whatever. And Sierra thinks that Tokyo handled the situation correctly and everything. And, you know, Tokyo feels, you know, in regards to Tobias, if he's not really trying to work on shit, then he needs to leave her the fuck alone and go head on and be with Spice or whatever, this, that, and the third. So, you know, Tokyo, she's like, you know, she's not going to go to Rashida's grand opening because she doesn't want to mess up her event and everything, this, that, and the third. And she might come to the after party, but she's not sure. So then we have the press grand opening. Everybody is on their way there to, you know, board up on the buses. They have two buses. And Carly, she sees Jock and Sean Garrett and BK. And she ain't got, you know, no time for neither one of them. So she just hugs Jock or whatever. And Jock is like, what? Because y'all know Carly been giving Jock a real hard time this season and everything. But she decided to be petty and hug him today or whatever to make Sean feel some type of way. So everybody else, they show up to board on the bus and everything. Sean is telling Mimi and whoever was on Mimi's bus or whatever that he ain't fucking with Carly right now. He don't fuck with the way she moved, this, that, and the third, blah, 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 blah. And then Sierra and Mimi start to tell them about the situation with Spice in Tokyo. And then the bus that the bus that Spice was on, she tries to tell her side of the story and everything, this, that, and the third, and then they start talking about Tommy, and they're hoping that, you know, whatever the situation that's going on with her, she gets better. And then they finally arrive to the grand opening of Pressed. And Rashida, she, you know, she's like, where's Tommy and everything? And Mimi is like, well, you know, when we first got here, Stephanie had a meeting with us and everything, and told us that Tommy won't be filming with us until they get some shit straightened out and everything. So, you know, that's that. And then she asks about Tokyo, and Mimi is like, well, that's another situation, you know. She tells about the fight. And, you know, Spice want to sit up here and try to say, you know, she threw her purse at me or whatever, this, that, and the third. And I was so glad that Mimi said to Spice, well, no, girl, you kept on coming for her. Like, you kept on jabbing at her for no reason. You know what I'm saying? So then Carly gonna have the audacity to sit up here and talk about something, you know, well, there's no need for violence and everything, this, that, and the third. And Mimi, she was like, okay, vegetable tray. Y'all remember that situation that happened last season where Carly threw that vegetable tray at Estelita or whatever? It's like, yeah, Carly, like, cut the bullshit, okay? So then Erica, she shows up out of nowhere. And so then we get to see the after party. Just Brittany, she's performing, and Erica was just being shady and rude as fuck the whole entire time. And Sean, you know, Sean Garrett, he's like, you know, well, why don't you fuck with her or whatever? And Erica's like, she has a nasty attitude and everything. I said, okay, call a spade a spade. Because I don't remember your attitude being all that calm, cool, and collective either. But, okay, Erica. So then, you know, just Brittany, she's saying how she don't like people to be talking while she's performing and everything. You know, she tried to pull an Erykah Badu talking about some she's sensitive about her shit or whatever. And I'm not going to lie. Everybody was being rude as fuck. like they were showing people in the audience and stuff, and everybody was kind of talking, and they really looked like they was not interested in the performance that she was giving. You know what I'm saying? But Erica, you know, she's being extra rude, making herself be known. You know, she's still yelling from the audience like, boo, like, people in your city don't even fuck with you or whatever, this, that, and the third. So after, you know, just Brittany finishes performing, she thanks Rashida for the opportunity and tells her how much she looks up to her, and she decides to leave because she already sees that it's going to be a problem with her and Erica. So Sean, he's saying how he's disappointed that Erica didn't come to work with him, and I'm just like, okay, you know what I'm saying? And he's sitting up here talking about somehow she just has this dope personality and everything. And, you know, as he's saying all of this, Carly is walking past and she stops, and Erica, you know, pulls her to sit down and everything. And, you know, Carly is like, you know, what had happened or whatever. And Sean had said something out his mouth or whatever, and Carly is saying how she ain't speaking to him right now. And Sean, he's asking Jock, you know, any advice for me or whatever, you know, in dealing with this situation. And Jock is like, run. That's all I can tell you to do is run, okay? So Spice is like, well, that's not what you was saying on the bus or whatever. You was saying how you wanted her cootie cat or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And Sean is like, oh, that's what it is, y'all. Like, for real, and everything. And so Erica admits that she thinks that Carly and Jock work. And I will say, out of all the guys that she's been with on this show, even though her and Jock be having they bullshit or whatever, it is funny seeing them two together. But I did see on the Shade Room that now she got another boo. I just really want Carly to just, I mean, she's just too old to be hopping around like this. I just really want her to settle down with somebody and somebody marry her or something. But anyways, so at another table, BK is asking Sierra why she being standoffish or whatever. And she had said something to him. I don't remember. Tokyo, she decides to come. She shows up. She's walking over to Sierra, BK, and everybody else that was at the table. And she sees Spice pointing at her. And she's like, why the fuck this hoe pointing? You know what I'm saying? So, Sierra is like, we was just talking about BK dirty dog ass or whatever, and Tokyo was like, oh, Ruth, and BK is like, well, we're gonna talk about it alone or whatever, see, because when you bring other people into it, it messes up our relationship. No, you don't want her to bring other people into it because you want to be able to manipulate her. Like, shut the fuck up, BK. Like, and like, it just in this moment, because we know what he's serving, he was just irritating me. I don't like BK. I feel like he's just very arrogant, and he's not even that fucking cute to be doing all that. Like, he just irritates me, y'all. I'm sorry. So, anyways, then he's sitting up here talking about Sierra love me and everything. Like, she playing hard to get now, but she gonna be back up on me by the time this trip is over with. And I'm just like, okay, boy. So, anyways, Tierra and Jasmine, they show up and everybody is looking. Even the extras was looking. Like, everybody was looking to see, they was like, oh shit, it's about to go down, and so Jasmine is saying how she just wanted to have an opportunity to talk to Rashida for a minute, if that's cool or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And Rashida tells Kirk, you go ahead and sit down and everything. So he's like, okay, but in low key, he was like, whew, I'm glad I don't have to deal with that or whatever, this, that, and the third. And Rashida is saying, I'm gonna see what this girl want or whatever, because obviously she gonna keep on popping up and everything, but she know I got a room full of people in this room that's gonna ride for me or whatever. But that's alright, because I don't even really need them for real. And it's just like, girl, you always leaving it up to people to fight your battle, so I guess it is nice to kind of see you handle some shit somewhat, you know what I'm saying? But anyways, so Jasmine is saying how she's been trying to reach out to Rashida or whatever, this, that, and the third, and I'm not that type of person. No, did she say that? Yeah, she was saying that, I wasn't thinking when all of this stuff was going down, and, I'm not that type of person or whatever. And Rashida is like, well, you did it, you know what I'm saying? Like, you that type of person or whatever. So, and Rashida is like, listen, your child don't have nothing to do with this situation. He didn't ask to be here or whatever. But the way you move, I can't fuck with that. You know what I'm saying? And that's why you haven't heard from me. That's why I haven't been wanting to talk to you. Because I'm going off of what you just been showing me and everything. And Jasmine is like, well, actions speak louder than words or whatever. And all I could do is act on my words. And, Rashida is like, well, I mean, you come into my place of business where my stepdaughter and my mom is at or whatever, this, that, and the third. And Jasmine is like, I won't try to be on no funny shit. I really just wanted to speak to you and everything. And, Rashida is like, listen, you and Kirk need to be the one to have a conversation or whatever, because, y'all have a kid together and everything. And, Rashida is like, listen, you're a fucked up individual, and I'm not talking about you cheating with my husband or whatever. I'm talking about the shit that you was doing afterwards. And I do remember hearing about Jasmine being on some fuck shit after she so-called calling herself, trying to apologize to Rashida and everything. Didn't she put out like some type of diss track against her or whatever? And then she was doing like some other shit. And Rashida is saying, you posted my child on Instagram. And I feel like I do remember that. You know what I'm saying? I think she was trying to prove a point about the fact that the boys look alike or whatever. And she was saying how, you're malicious or whatever. And I just can't fuck with that. So, today is a good day. And I like to keep it that way. And she walks away from Jasmine. And, that's how the episode ended. Now, I will say, Rashida did handle herself like a lady, which she always does. But I wish she would have kind of had this same energy with Kirk. I wish she would have told Kirk that he was a fucked up individual. You know what I'm saying? Considering this is who she's married to or whatever. You know what I mean? And it's like, yes, we have heard Rashida say before that Kirk does need to be a father to this child, but it's like he's still not really making no moves to do that. Like, that child support shit is cool and everything, but it's like, you need to be in that child's life just the same way how you in all your other kids' life. You need to be in this child's life as well. You know what I'm saying? But like I said before, and a lot of other people have been saying, we don't feel sorry for Jasmine either. The only person we feel sorry for is this child. I do feel like that Jasmine wants that, been wanting to have this conversation, conversation with Rashida, because it's kind of like, she get Rashida to kind of somewhat be on her side or whatever, that'll make Kirk take care of his responsibilities. And it's like, no, that's not how it's going to go down. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, Kirk need to step in and be a father, just like he's being a father to all his other kids and everything. But at the same time, Jasmine, like we've been saying, we don't feel sorry for you either, because you knew what you were getting yourself into when you decided to lay it low and spread it wide. And that's my thoughts on the episode, y'all. Y'all make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you guys come back, and I'll see y'all in the next video. All right, y'all.